Oh yeah, you should make a video while you're on break. It'll be fun. You'll do it. You'll do it in time. You've got 3 weeks. Surely you're not going to wait to the last minute to get it done. This is a music video. This is a music video. This is also a music video. This is not a music video. Music videos as a concept have a bit of an ill-defined origin. You can make an argument for their existence going back to the talkies era of the early 1900s. Variety shows like The Ed Sullivan Show and The Sonny and Cher Show would feature various artists performing on stage. Later in the actual music video era, we would see these recirculate. In the 1960s and 70s, we started to see the idea of filmed inserts in many movies by bands using the songs from their most recent releases. The Beatles, David Bowie, Queen. But it's the early 1980s when music videos became mainstream, with the rise of MTV and MTV, aka Music Television, launched on August 1st, 1981, as a full television channel that was focused solely on music videos and playing them on a 24-hour basis. 2 years later, Black Entertainment Television would launch as a full standalone network after originally being a 2-hour-long programming block on the USA Network from 1980 to 1983. While BET's mission was not simply music videos, it was a significant block of its programming. This was a counter to MTV, who had long-running issues about the lack of black artists that were played on their network. But Yo MTV Raps came along in the late 80s to change all that. It was monumental in its showcase of black artists and hip-hop overall. It ran in the US from 1988 to 1995 and was hosted by Fab Five Freddy, Ed Lover,
Come on, son!
and Dr. Dre. No, not that one. There we go. The three of them were among the first generation of VJs, or video jockeys, like DJs, disc, yeah, you get it. Yo featured numerous artists like De La Soul, Public Enemy, Naughty by Nature, and Ice-T. But much like the art form it promoted, the show ran into a wealth of controversy and criticism. Videos showcased on the platform were seen as too violent, and eventually, it was moved to a late Friday night time slot, which was the mark of doom in television at the time. While BET obviously did not have an issue with playing black artists on their channel, they did avoid rap in their early years as the genre was pretty controversial. If you're black and of a certain age, you probably had parents or aunts and uncles who did not care for the genre at all, and it was often distinctly separated from the ideas of black excellence itself. Bob Johnson, the original founder of BET, and Jeff Lee, VP of Network Operations, were not fans of rap, and they would avoid putting it on premiere channel rotations like Video Soul, and they saw the genre as more of a gimmick and a passing fad. Then, when Yo MTV Raps launched, BET would naturally have to find a counter for it. Originally, this came in the form of Rap City, hosted by Hans Prime Dobson, who would travel to various cities and hang out with rappers in between videos that they were showcasing. The format was a bit shaky and it took some time to get it right, but eventually they did pull this and retool it into Rap City The Basement in 1999. The two networks would go through the 90s presenting new ideas and showcases for music videos. MTV had Dial MTV, 120 Minutes, Daily Dose, AMP, and BET had Video Soul, Video Vibrations, Midnight Love, and Screen Scene. And while this video is not about the general programming of BET, as it's about one show in particular, I do want to shout out shows like Teen Summit, regular news programming, and black college football broadcasts. This was one of the only networks for much of the 80s and 90s where you could find coverage on black issues, even if it was just a bit bougie in its nature. And coincidentally, I'm sure a huge phase out of these programs began to take shape once Paramount took over the network in the early 2000s. Anyway, the biggest cultural moment for MTV came in 1998 with the launch of TRL, Total Request Live, a music video countdown show hosted by Carson Daly that absolutely transformed the music industry. While music videos had previously been a promotional vehicle for artists, a way for them to push a new album or prop up one that was already out, TRL changed the way these videos were promoted. No longer were you regulated to a programming block where videos were randomly interspersed, or they maybe had a similar theming, think BET's Video Link. You're now getting prominent focus in primetime television, on live television, with screaming fans. Now, of course, there was some, eventual corruption, but that's for another time. I'm going to link this Pablo Torre video here. But regardless of all of that, TRL became the showcase for pop artists. There were some R&B singers like Aaliyah and groups like TLC interspersed within there, and America's favorite white man, Eminem, made his appearance routinely. But you'll notice something, really two things, if you just watch TRL for any moment of time during this period. Number one, TRL doesn't play a lot of rap. Sure, every once in a while, Outkast will sneak on there, but that was also at the height of their commercial success. We're talking Miss Jackson, we're talking So Fresh and So Clean. You would have some Nelly appearances, but for the most part, the rap was Eminem. But the show heavily featured pop divas and boy bands and Disney kids that were transitioning into the adult side of their artistry. Number 2, TRL did not play the full music videos. Remember, this is a promotional endeavor, so eventually it became about interviewing artists or promoting artists and the like. So you would have a music video be introduced by Carson Daly, play for about 45 seconds, and then they're back to the audience. So if you're BET and you're seeing this show take off in real time, what would you do to counter those two things? I mean, come on, man. Let's face it. MTV TRL was not playing Jagged Edge or doing things like this.
Hold on a second. I just heard something happened to Genuine while he was doing the sound check. He was supposed to perform right now. We have to apologize, guys. What happened, dog?
Oh no.
What happened?
Oh no.
Yo, what? They said he passed out or something. Yo,
What's wrong with him?
yo. I seen doctors use that electricity to shock his heart, but y'all don't have that. So what you need to do is pump his heart, and it'll bring him back, yo.
Or this.
Musically, vocally, I will shut any R&B cat down.
That's a big.
Period.
Wow.
Calm down, Cisco. Little guy, calm down, little guy.
Or this.
Yeah, yo, and yo, I'm mad free. You acting like I ain't the one. Why you got me battling Bruce Lee grandson? His mom was in Menace to Society saying, hurry up and bop. I kick raps and spit fire, yo. He just kick and be like, hi, yo. Yo, check. You wanna say I'm Chinese? Sonny, here's a reminder. Check your Timbs, they probably say made in China. Don't make me get on his tip and straight kill ya. His name is Stolen, cause all he rocks is silver. Do you stop following trends? Your girl must love alcohol, cause she be swallowing gin. Yo, I'm about to flip the script when it's coming to it. Hey, yo, you see me spitting on the block, you run into it. This is 106 in Park, I'm a hard act to follow. You an amateur, you go to the Apollo. Cause I'm freestyling, knowing I'm done. Son, you ain't a baller, tell the audience the truth. I saw him breakdancing for spare change on 42. All right.
I mean, truly, this was a time of peak cinema. Picture this, and if you're a certain age, it shouldn't be too hard to do. You're getting home from school, it's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're home before either of your parents. You flip on your TV to catch BET's afternoon block. Hits from the Street, Cedar's World, Rap City with Big Tigger, and then 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you're like me when I was in high school and had to move to Tennessee, it's time for peak television. 106 in Park, filmed in East Harlem, New York at 106th Street and Park Avenue, debuted on September 11th, 2000. It was originally hosted by AJ Calloway and Marie Antoinette Wright, better known as Free. The show not only featured a lot of music and artists that weren't on TRL, but it had its own style and spin on the formula. For the first year, the show was only 1 hour long, but come early 2001, it moved to a 90-minute format. This allowed 106 in Park to actually play the videos. Like most of the video, they had points in time where they were doing a little 45-second thing, but they did more than TRL typically. Celebrity interviews were still a thing. Artists like Aaliyah, Lil Bow Wow, Destiny's Child, Lil Bow Wow, Jagged Edge, NSYNC, and Lil Bow Wow. Like TRL, celebrities performed songs for live for the audience, and sometimes it appeared in place of their music video on the countdown. But most of the time, if an artist was coming through to the set, it was usually to promote a new music video of theirs as the new joint of the day, making the video eligible for the countdown the next day. Conversely, the old school joint of the day was a pause in the action that paid homage to songs from the past. It's how I learned about absolute classics like Just a Friend and Wishing Well and Rock Steady, and I'm sure there are other people in my age range who were put on to new music through the segment. I also enjoyed the way they would leverage an old school video with their guest of the day. See, for instance, the time they brought Casey and JoJo to the show while playing an old Jodeci video as the old school joint of the day. But the show's coup de grace its stamp on the culture, its piece de resistance, was Freestyle Friday, a weekly one-on-one 2-round showdown between battle rappers with a panel of guest judges. It birthed rappers like MC Jin, Poster Boy, rest in peace, Loaded Lux, Blind Fury, and so many more. Freestyle Friday showcased what made 106 so special. It fully embraced hip-hop and overall black culture, showcasing elements of rap that were never going to make it to the likes of MTV or VH1. Remember, this is the early 2000s, so while rap had been a known entity in pop culture for about 20 years at this point, it was still not taken very seriously, especially when white people's take on rap was something like this.
Hey yo, traffic, looking for my chapstick, feeling kinda car sick. There's a Ford Maverick. See, that's $1 million song right there.
The show itself allowed for so many incredible moments. Yes, you have Genuine being the most extra person of all time. You have Cisco starting an R&B beef. You have Michelle losing balance. Kanye in his backpack era, performing with a very young John Legend, and so many more. For me though, the part that I love the most about 106 in Park were the hosts, AJ and Free. Looking at any old episodes of the show, you can tell there was a little bit of awkwardness as they tried to figure out just what their roles were for the show and what they were trying to go for. But once you get deep into 2001, you see where there's a lot of comfort and chemistry between the two. Besides, AJ's awkward attempts at flirting. I don't know if these were genuine or not, or just part of a bit, but they always felt a bit forced and cringeworthy to me. But hey. It didn't take long though for 106 in Park to become a cultural staple. Rappers mentioned it in their songs.
I had a house and I do it again, 'cause I wanna be your pushing the Mr. 106 in Park is back.
Naturally, BET attempted to build upon 106's success wherever they could. 106 in Prime was a short-lived spinoff that served as a best videos of the week with random celebrity co-hosts. 106 in Party was a New Year's Eve show which aired after an all-day network countdown of the top 100 songs of the year, which culminated in this big old New Year's Eve celebration with celebrities abound. There was also a very short-lived 106 in Gospel, which is exactly what you think it was and lasted about as long as you think it did. People of a certain age, once again, may not quite remember a time where black entertainment and black media wasn't as abundant as it is now. Yeah, it was pretty one-dimensional in what was available and accessible, but overall, it was one of the last bastions of a black monoculture, for better or for worse. Funny enough, that black monoculture wasn't even really a thing, if that makes sense. There's universal black experiences for sure, but one of the things that you'll notice about early 106 in Park versus the end of AJ and Free's run and the rest of the series is that it's very heavily New York centric and dominated. Sure, the show is being filmed in New York City, but the countdown was heavily dominated by New York and East Coast artists in the early parts of the show. It was a microcosm of what was considered mainstream rap at the time. If it wasn't somebody who was a bona fide star like Jay-Z, Nas, or Eminem, it was Gang Starr, it was Jadakiss, it was Fabolous, it was Cameron, Ja Rule, Talib, all of those. Artists from the East Coast would be more familiar with. You would get West Coast legacies and rappers, like, of course, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, 213 as a whole, Nate Dogg. All of those would show up early on, and like TRL, Outkast would pop in during the height of their popularity. Every once in a while, you'd get a UGK or a 3 6 Mafia, but that was few and far between. Like, brother, 2003 me did not give a damn about Pump It Up outside of having to hear it on Madden 04. But jokes aside, I point that out to say that 106 also captured what, to me, was an extremely pivotal moment in time. That in particular was the real-time rise of Southern rap in the mainstream. Lil Jon, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris, 3 6 Mafia, T.I., Bone Crusher, and hell, even Pastor Troy and Baby D got on the countdown. Those are some Georgia deep cuts. And Southern rap as a whole really started to gain traction and national prominence. Suddenly, Break Bread and Damn were premiering on the countdown next to Wanksta, and Never Scared was battling 21 Questions for the #1 spot. Even beyond the #1 spot, you had videos that just hung around the countdown, sometimes just sitting in that 8 or 7 spot until they faded away, or all over the countdown until they were eventually retired. This is something that the likes of Lil Bow Wow and Aaliyah and Destiny's Child and 50 Cent were essentially known for, but artists like Ashanti, Romeo, Lil Flip, Carrie Hilson, Chingy, Mary J. Blige, Genuine, Keisha Cole, Ja Rule, and Chamillionaire also received that honor. AJ and Free themselves became sort of black icons, especially for the millennial and Gen X generations. They used the platform to build a rapport with artists, something that I thought was incredibly dope. At the time the show started, AJ was 26 and Free was 32, both incredibly young for the spotlight that they would take on. Think about being that age and in that space. Some of you aren't even that age yet, and that's cool, but just being able to interview the likes of like Usher, Mariah Carey, Halle Berry, Denzel Washington, Maxwell, Janet, and Michael Jackson. Like, think about that last one for a bit. Michael Jackson was never on TRL. He was often the butt of jokes for MTV, but at BET, or at least with 106 & Park, he was revered for the artist that he was, and he was celebrated. There was an entire promotional tour for Invincible that the network did as the album was premiering. Michael's team even told AJ and Free that he watched the show nearly every day. Like, think about that. As far as major cultural points, the two of them gave Aaliyah's final interview. They were there when Destiny Child announced that they were splitting up, and they even interviewed Jay-Z when he announced his quote-unquote retirement, a pinnacle moment in hip-hop history, even though it was...
So that was a fucking lie.
Free herself had at least rubbed elbows with some of these people in her past, as she was a rapper before taking up hosting duties for 106 & Park. She appeared on tracks with Cannabis, Wyclef Jean, Queen Latifah, Pras, and Black prior to 106's debut, and through the show, she worked with the likes of Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, and even with that being baby Beyonce, having the opportunity to work with such prominent figures in the industry had to be, at the very least, a check mark on her bucket list. The duo had made their mark in the industry, and everything seemed to be humming just fine for some time. And then it happened.
I'm on the phone right now with Free. There's a lot going on over here at 106 & Park. I got her on the phone to help me from getting emotional. You there? Free, you there? I want everybody to know out there, this is my last live show on 106 & Park. And Free's gone as well. And, man, she's telling me to stop crying. Me and Free wanted you all to know that we love y'all very much.
It's all good. The shoes can never be filled the same.
We were saying that we love you very much, and you'll be hearing from us. Me and Free are going to go on a farewell tour, and her website's going to be up soon, so go check out her website, and we love y'all, and we're going to continue the countdown.
During the summer of 2005, AJ began hosting a lot of the episodes solo. This wasn't a new endeavor. There had been times in the past where Free was out and AJ hosted solo, or AJ was out and Free hosted solo, or one was out and the other was replaced with a guest host, or they were both out, and you get the picture. But something about this was different. Free was gone for weeks, leading to speculation that she wasn't coming back. And on July 28, 2005, we were finally told the truth. After 5 incredible years, AJ and Free were leaving 106 & Park. This, to me, was a major moment in television. One of those times that you learn that things indeed changed and you didn't really like it. Just like that, AJ and Free were gone. They were replaced immediately with BET personalities Darian Big Tigger Morgan, formerly of Rhapsody the Basement, and Jalisa Bermudez. And I want to give the two of them their flowers. They did a great job holding it down, and I personally thought that they were going to be the full-time hosts. I swear it felt like longer than 11 months that they played this role, but in July 2006, they yielded the hosting gig to newcomers Terrence J and Roxy Diaz. Now, I will say around this time I had stopped watching. I was a senior in high school during the fall of 2006. Make whatever jokes you want, I don't care. And while I did intermittently check in, I just wasn't a big fan of the two of them. Part of it was nostalgia and a refusal to move on. Part of it was just that I really didn't care for Terrence J, but hey, to each their own. Terrence J and Roxy would go on to host the show for longer than AJ and Free. They served as the faces of the show for the micro generation a bit younger than me. And I hope and I'm sure that those of you who grew up watching during that era found your own love and appreciation for the show too. The final 2 years of the show were hosted by a mix of people, but rightfully they gave Bow Wow a chance to host the very show he was nicknamed for, with like 3 other co-hosts at one point in time. I don't remember too much of this era because, again, I had stopped watching for years at this point, but I do remember tuning in randomly after work one day, and it just felt like an utter mess. Eventually, all good things must come to an end, and the show officially concluded on December 19th, 2014. This show and countdown shows in general had run their course. YouTube by this point was 9 years old, and media companies were learning just how much they could use these platforms, and users weren't really stopping to watch videos in a certain order when they could just watch whatever videos they wanted. The final act, which was the show's last episode, featured hosts from years past. This, of course, included AJ and Free, Terrence J and Roxy, Jaleesa and Big Tigger. I did tune in for this because, of course, I would. It was a send-off to a network staple that was a large part of my teenage years. I think it was a proper send-off for a show that, while once important, had long lost its luster and run its course. Time marches on. We find new things that intrigue us and hold our attention, new moments in time that serve as cultural phenomena and touchstones. The BET Awards continued having some relevance after this. They would bring AJ and Free out from time to time, even if it was just, to make a reference to what they did here and there, or things happening in the award show that ended up resulting in memes that would circulate through Black Twitter. Every once in a while, BET would bring out members of its more respected past, but nowadays it's basically the Tyler Perry Network and reruns of old Black sitcoms. The network doesn't really feel necessary, especially since it's not even Black owned and hasn't been for over 20 years at this point, and I shudder to think of what will become of it under Larry Ellison's son. But hey, that's just a little journey down memory lane, and that's been on my mind for some time. What were your favorite moments of 106 & Park? Who were the hosts when you were watching the show? How would you bring it back in the modern era if there was a way that made financial sense? I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype. We do a lot of television recaps on this channel and sometimes go live to talk about music and movies. And every 9 or so months, you'll get a random video essay from me. All right, that's it. We out.